Headline Eye on WNRV 108.1.
All right, and welcome to another edition of the Headline Eye. I'm your host, Larry H. Gardner, on WNRB108.1.com, Nerd DJs. They break your tracks, not your stacks, and of course, we'll be getting your nerve. The H stands for Hello, Black History Month. We are still in it. And joining me also with my guest is none other than Miss Lexis. Hello, Miss Lexis. How are you doing?
Hello, it's Lexis Bogan here. I'm doing great. And please follow me on my Instagram at BBBAE.BOSS and my Facebook, Lexis Bogan, LEXESBOGAN. And I'm doing great.
That's great. So it's warming up a little bit here. It was 55 in Cleveland today. You see the snow melting and the snow drifts. That's the reason why. I guess it was a little bit icy a couple of weeks ago, but now it's going back to normal. Shout out to everybody that participated in the All-Star game. It was the USA Stars and Stripes in the world. The Stars won that this past Sunday. Anthony Edwards was the MVP. Speaking of basketball, Los Angeles Clippers point guard, all-time great Chris Paul, after being let go by the Clippers, has announced his retirement from the National Basketball Association. Godspeed to Chris on his new endeavors. Hopefully everything goes well. If you watched, we got some stuff that's going on. We have a couple of, unfortunately, celebrity deaths. As reported today, civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, who ran for president 2 times in the 80s, passed away last night at age 84. Lexis, you want to talk about Jesse a little bit?
Yes, rest in peace, Mr. Jesse. Definitely an influential being in the advocacy community. And we're going to miss him greatly.
I'm going to miss him terribly. I met him at Greater Abyssinia, Reverend E.T. Cabinets over at Greater Abyssinia off 105 near Superior. And, with the National Action Network, Al Sharpton shared a touching post on social media about Jesse being his mentor. A couple of people who passed away a couple of times. Of course, actor Robert Duvall, who played his iconic role in The Godfathers 1, 2, and 3 with Al Pacino.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he passed away at 95 on Monday. Also, John Beek of Dawson's Creek passed away at age 48. And of course, the iconic Sanford and Son show, Damon Wilson, who played Lamont Sanford on Sanford and Son, passed away last week at age 78. There's been a lot of 2026, man. Ooh, I'm a little bit, I don't know. I'm a little bit frightened right about now. A little bit frightened, but we got to keep it going. Speaking of frightening, last week, Attorney General Pam Bondi went up against the Senate committee and asking about the Epstein files, and she had a little of a crash out moment. So she was attacking everybody, calling people loser lawyers and other people, and it's just, I'm a little bit like the Attorney General works for the people, and the Epstein files have been going on for a while, and we know that President Trump is on the Epstein files, inside of them. I think he's mentioned more like 5,000 times in those files, and now he's attacking former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton about these, and he wants to, and both the Clintons want a hearing about the Epstein files. Say, hey, we're not going to go behind doors in the kangaroo court. What we're going to do is we're going to listen. You're going to try to expose us. Try to expose us all the way. I don't even want to worry about it. There's a couple of events. So this, what do you think about so far what's been going on right now with this administration, Alexis?
I wonder how they're going to properly regulate and administer some kind of punishment to all of the names and all of the people involved in that ongoing project. I mean, I don't really know how they're going to revive that, after all this time and all of the participants.
Right.
And then they're only listing certain people, but there's still other people that we don't even know is a part of it.
Well, there's still another 3 million. I guess another pages of the Epstein files left that has not been uncovered to the American public. So we still got some more stuff left. There's a couple of people, like people from Goldman Sachs and other people, who have resigned because of the Epstein files, period, point blank. But we always talk about administering justice. And of course, the midterms are coming up. And we have a guest here that is running for domestic relations court judge. So Miss Lexis, you need to bring her on right now. Human T-Rex on the ones and twos. Please play the entrance music from my guest here so we can get going.
Introducing the beautiful, strong, intelligent, significant Sunny Simon.
Sunny Simon, we don't want to wait anymore. And this is from the Dawson's Creek entrance. I need to hear this. So Miss Simon is running for domestic relations court judge. So I thank her for joining me. How are you doing today?
Listen, I'm great. I'm so happy to be here today, and thank you for having me on. It's a big day to be here.
That's wonderful. So the question is that why are you running for domestic relations court judge?
I'm running for domestic relations court judge because a seat recently opened up, and this has been my whole career, has been working as an attorney in all aspects of family law for over 35 years, and this is an opportunity to continue public service in the court to protect families and children, and continue my service that's been for the last 15 years on County Council District 11. So
you were a county council person, correct?
I still am until the end of the year. I was an inaugural county council person for District 11 and worked with C. Ellen Connolly. She was president, I was her VP, and I've continued to work really hard there to really provide safety nets for families.
So what District 11 County Council, what cities does that cover?
South Euclid, where I live, Lyndhurst, Euclid, Highland Heights, Richmond Heights, and Beechwood. 6 cities.
Okay. And you also been a lawyer, correct? Attorney, correct?
Attorney for over 35 years, and I started off in politics in South Euclid when I moved there, and was able to activate a neighborhood group and organize the neighborhood and work my way into being a city council person, city council president. And when the new government formed, I was able to become the first county council person for District 11.
Okay. What kind of law do you specialize in?
Family law.
Family law.
Domestic relations court is where I spend most of my days.
Okay. So when the seat opened up, and we know the reason why it opened up, unfortunately, and bringing this up is because of Judge Leslie Ann Celebrezzi, who had to be removed because of being indicted because of a felony, and courts don't play that, period. So when you heard that the seat was open up, you are still on county council. What made you just want to go from, being a servant to being a judge in that seat, in that court?
I've had plenty of opportunity to run for judge in other courts, including South Euclid Muni Court, but there's not been an opportunity to really express and care what I care about and have a passion about, or families and children. And this was a time when a seat did open up, and I thought it was a great way for me to continue with that work. And especially when we got on board with the county council, the county government was new because of a corruption scandal that happened in 2008 and 2010. The charter had changed, and we had to restore public trust in the government, coming in with 11 inaugural members of council and an executive, and worked really hard to provide transparent ways to govern. So given that experience and seeing what happened with the court, and my passion for families and my public service, and what I care most about is protecting families and kids, it made sense for me to just continue on in the court. And that's where I practice domestic violence, divorces, custody, child support, every aspect of that court I practice. So I feel very comfortable there and think I can make a difference.
So with that seat opening up because of the controversy, and we read it on Marshall's Law, and I've been looking at this case going on, how do you gain public trust knowing how the seat opened up in the first place?
Yeah, the Marshall Project covered that well, and I was watching it. And I think to come back to each case that comes before the court, it's important that the judges are present, that people are in the courtroom, that they can see what's happening. There's not closed door meetings, which has always been difficult for my clients. They don't know what's going on behind those doors. But I think even broader is to provide new rules of the court that I'm looking at, and I'm sure the other judges are as well. But what was the impetus for the problem with the former judge was a receivership that was being appointed to one person. And I think it's important to have rules of the court that if there is to be a receivership, it's rare, that there's a transparent way to do that, and to go out to bid, to have a list, to have a list that's approved, and make sure that it's on the up and up, and give clients the opportunity to weigh in whether they're going to get a receivership and have grounds for it.
And in terms of the court and domestic relations court, what is a receivership?
In that particular court, and in general, a receiver is appointed when there's assets, and when there's assets that are allegedly being, diverted or misused, and the receiver is appointed to make sure that the marital asset is not mismanaged.
Right, like as in a divorce, correct?
In a divorce situation.
Okay. Ms. Lex, do you have anything to ask Ms. Simon?
Yes. So, what would you say is the most common underlying cause of families going to like custody court, in regards to children? What would you say that you witnessed with that over the years?
Oftentimes, unfortunately, when a couple, whether they're married or not, and there's discord, and maybe one of the parties is more abusive in certain ways, often will bring that control into the courthouse and use the children as tools. And that's not an uncommon situation when you have an imbalance in a relationship, and when there's violence or control issues, that's brought into the courtroom. But when you have mature couples that are going through a divorce or a dissolution amicably, the children usually are not in the center of that. The parents work together to make sure that the kids are protected and loved on both sides. But it seems to be the trend of what's underlying the disruption of that family carries on into the courtroom. And the kids are often in the middle of that. And of course, you have situations where there's mental health issues, where there's drug addiction, and the courts now are much more able to address that. And especially the domestic relations court, there's a family court mental health docket that was started by Judge Jones, which I really appreciate, and I want to be able to reinforce some of those programs into that court to help with what you're talking about.
All right. And that would be Tanya Johnson Jones, is that correct?
Tanya, yes.
And that is the Councilman Joe Jones' wife. You got to shout out to Tanya Johnson Jones, period. You know, what she's been doing down there is wonderful. How would you add that when you're elected to this seat?
Well, listen, I really admired Judge Jones for starting the mental health docket that she put in place, and I think there can be budget adjustments to try to increase some of the programs. I'd like to see kids who witness violence and are suffering from trauma get early counseling. We know from little ones from 1 to 3, if you get them early, that would help heal them. I want to see healing coming out of that court and to enhance the programs. And I think with wraparound services that will be able to help guide those families through the court.
So we are in Black History Month, and domestic relations court, it's a community and stuff like that. First of all, your opinion of Jesse, just get your opinion of Jesse Jackson passing, Reverend Jackson.
Well, we talked a little bit about, the passing during Black History Month is significant, and I'm hoping that passing will raise awareness that we really need to be active now because we're under attack from this presidency. It's a huge loss from an iconic leader, and I think we need to bring people up, young people, into this movement. And this is an opportunity, I think, for that to happen. But people need to wake up, and maybe losing such an icon will help, galvanize people right now to come together and really, really continue to the work that he did.
Okay. That's wonderful. That's what's up. So back to domestic relations court. A lot of people don't like judges, especially, dealing with it's saying because, you go to jail or something happens. And then, of course, with men, especially African-American men, like myself, they feel like that the courts are not going to be fair in their favor, especially when the children are involved, especially with other things that are involved, with marital assets are involved. How do you assure people that they're getting a fair trial with you, especially after what just happened with the judge, that the reason why the seat is empty, excuse me?
As simple as listening is, I think it's important for anybody who would come into a courtroom, if I were to be elected, will have an opportunity to really set forth their position, ask if they need assistance. Unfortunately, there's no real fund for criminal defendants will get access to attorneys. I think it's access to justice and being heard and making sure that they get the time they need to get resources together or present their case or provide them with whatever counseling they might need or the resources they need to go through the court system. I don't want to rush people. I wouldn't want to rush them through that process, and sometimes judges tend to do that to clear their docket. Every case is different. Every case has a rhythm. Every couple has their own dynamic that has to be addressed. And I think a judge, especially me who's represented clients for 35 years, I kind of have an idea of what is going on in a family, and I want to give the space and the time to learn that, to help shepherd them through the court. So it's really providing the time, the space, and the opportunity to be heard.
Is it true what they say, that at a certain age, children can choose what household they want to be in? Or I'm sorry, I've heard a lot of stuff with that. How does that work?
I'm glad you're asking. Children never can be the decisive factor in where they live. But
okay.
When they turn 14, I think that's the age probably you've heard. The court gives more credence to them at age 14 to be able to weigh in. But typically, kids should never be making those decisions. They usually have a guardian ad litem that the guardian will represent that child's interest, whatever age, and be able to present that to the court. But as they get older, that they have more input in where they live. But you don't want a child who's spoiled by one parent, and that's why they want to live there.
Right.
You know, the Disneyland parent, right? So that's
Right.
why the guardian's there to represent the best interests. But obviously, you know, the older they get, the more they're listened to.
I think the one thing that, you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, usually when the mother or the ex, soon to be ex-wife or the mother goes into domestic relations court, that they already have rights, even if the father is fighting for them. Is that a myth? Because a lot of people feel that way.
So, and I want to go back to your question about the perceived inequality of a father versus the mother.
Yes.
I think the courts have evolved significantly since I started 35 years ago, where there perhaps was a gender bias, and that's shifted now because you have both parents working, you have, you know, mothers who are working, and both parents are treated equally, and really the presumption is you're going to have shared parenting with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, Larry, what you're talking about, when you have unmarried couples,
Yes.
under Ohio law, the mother is deemed the custodial parent in an unmarried situation.
Right.
And automatically the custodial parent, and the father has no rights until he goes into the court, and that's juvenile court, to be able to apply for custody or shared parenting. And once that's the doorway to get rights, and it's antiquated, that's Ohio, right? So it's very difficult for unmarried couples and fathers to be able to assert themselves.
Okay. And the thing about it is, like, the reason I asked this question, you know, similar situation that happened, and, you know, unmarried, but, you know, fathers are stepping up to the plate to, hey, listen, this is my child. I want to see my child. I want the parenting time. I want the shared parenting and things of that nature. So how do you get the resources for a father who's working, who doesn't have a lot of money for an attorney? Because, you know, as attorneys go, so do retainers. So how do you, you know, help those men out who don't have the resources to go out and pay for a family attorney?
You know, first of all, it's essential that a father is involved in a child's life. Let's just put that out there. I mean, we know that's critical for not only that family unit, but all of our county to thrive and have productive, you know, kids going, you know, through, you know, having a stable family. But justice is expensive, and we have from County Council a fatherhood initiative that funds programs to help fathers get help with child support, and, you know, that's a way to expand that initiative to be able to help fathers who are going through the court system and get into it and have representation or some kind of guidance through that program.
So the thing about it is like, what we want is fair shared parenting, correct?
The presumption is definitely shared parenting, and absolutely both parents need to be involved, and that's an accepted change now in the paradigm. But it started off where mothers were presumed to be, even in domestic court, you know, the sole custodial parent. But that has shifted so significantly now that the presumption, at least from my viewpoint and the judges in our court, is shared parenting.
Okay.
Unless there's a real reason that can't happen.
Okay. So let's get to the Attorney General situation this past week with Pam Bondi and the Epstein files. Did you get a chance to, I know you've been on the campaign trail, and working, did you get a chance to look at what she was saying, or how do you perceive the way that she acted?
I watched it. It was a travesty of justice. It was an example of another way that the Trump administration is totally annihilating institutions, the court, bastardizing the role of the Attorney General. That her job is to represent the people, not to represent the president. And it is, like I said, it's just devastating to watch her outrageous, unprofessional behavior, but it goes deeper than her performance. It's just denigrating the courts and denigrating that office that's so needed right now.
Right. You know she's on them files, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows?
crazy. But the thing about it is like the victims of Epstein were behind her, and then she talked about the Dow, but they all stood up behind her. Like you said, bastardizing the court. The federal government has a way of, when you appoint people, the president can appoint people. What do you think that this administration has done so far? How hurtful has this administration becomes to the federal courts?
No, it's destroying it. The courts are the only thing right now that are protecting us from, I believe, authoritarianism, fascism. The courts are holding the line, but every day there's district attorneys resigning because they're not doing what he wants them to do, indicting people. Don Lemon, all of the journalists that have just, one was in court today.
Right.
I think it's her birthday, having to defend being a journalist. So I think the question is how damaging it's. I don't know if we're going to survive this. We have to get the midterms and change our Senate and change the House to be able to try to get a handle on this. But Pam Bondi didn't even look at the survivors that were behind her.
She did not.
She did not look at them, and those are her clients.
Right. Alexis, you have something want to add to this?
Miss Pam, when people sometimes express certain things or explain certain things because they want to either clear something up or inform people in a better light, it can either come out in a upstanding way or, a defensive way, or it can come out as kind of beating around the bush. It's kind of like, were you a part of this or were you not? I feel like I didn't really get a clear, direct answer. And maybe because it's an uncomfortable topic, but people don't really want to know about all of the fluff. People want to know, were you a part of it? What dirt did you partake in, or what dirt do you know? And she couldn't really say that, so it was just really a performative speech to me.
It wasn't. I'm not letting her off the hook. She is part of this destructive armbar of this administration, and she was appointed by Trump. Now the thing about it is, Pam Bondi was advocating for women's rights in 2018. And then she switched over once she started defending Trump against the impeachment. And then unfortunately, she started drinking the Kool-Aid like everybody else, Nicki. I'm taking shots at Nicki Minaj, I don't care. But the thing about it is like right now, thank you, T-Rex. Pull it. But the thing about it is at this particular time, she defended President Trump saying, y'all should apologize. There's no apology to the president. The president hadn't even apologized for the disgusting thing he put out about the Obamas, but I digress. So my question to you is, how do the courts, Sonny, restore order or help restore order from this authoritarian government that we have now?
It's up to the judges, and they've been absolutely holding the line with upholding the law and not being pressured into succumbing to the demands of this administration. And their DAs are resigning, but the judges are holding the line. But unfortunately, the district courts are doing that, but when we go up to the Supreme Court, we know the court majority is ultra conservative, and,
Right.
and this is the problem. And I've always said, when I've campaigned every election cycle aggressively, I was a Central Committee person, always knocking on doors to say, I don't care that you don't like Hillary Clinton, because I would hear that. We don't like her. She spoke at a corporate event, or I don't like this one or that Democrat. But at the end of the day, it's really about the president appoints those justices, and I always said, it's not a personality, that you're voting for. We have a court that's going to dictate our future for the next decade. And when you vote, it's important to make sure that we have justices who are not ultra right. And right now we're going through a very difficult time, and that will swing. I know it will, but it's when you ask me the question, what do we do? What do judges do? What do courts do? When you have a Supreme Court that's making laws, right now that's going to affect us for the next 10 years, it's important that the judges continue to, follow the law, and hopefully with a new court up at the top, that cases will find their way up and be able to start to change back to what justice means.
Okay. And how can people donate to your campaign? Campaign things. Do you have a website now? First of all, congratulations on getting the endorsement from the Democratic Party. Congratulations on that. Gotta throw it out there. Shout out to Mr. Brock for giving me that information. Thank you, Dave. You are so wonderful. But how can people donate to your campaign? Do you have any information that you can give us?
Oh, thank you so much. Sure, it was an honor to get the Democratic Party endorsement. My website is up there, Sunny Simon for Judge, and my campaign information's on there if they want to make a contribution. Sunny Simon for Judge.
Okay. And then they can contact, they can go on the website and contact if they want to donate or walk with you or things of that nature.
And
correct?
get some yard signs. And I should be in the primary unopposed, but I do have a Republican in the general, so I'll need some help.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. So the general is November 4th, as we know, and I don't want to think about anything cold, so we need to get to the summit first. But you are going, so you don't have an opponent in the primary at all, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So
Hope it stays that way.
I think they withdrew because they heard she was running. So, and she got the endorsement. Okay, we just gonna drop out. We gonna see in November. But so you ran for county council, correct? And you've been on campaigns before. How is this different from the others?
Well, District 11 was 6 cities that I was campaigning in and had a whole summer to do it. I was very, I'm a door knocker, but when it's at the county level, obviously has to be more strategic knocking. But
right.
No, this is just larger and running. I try to hit every ward club in every city that I can, and meet as many people at events. So it's larger and a little bit different strategy.
A little bit different strategy, but you still pounding the pavement, door knocking.
I love door knocking.
You do? What's your favorite part about it?
Meeting people, getting ideas, meeting people, finding out what's going on in each neighborhood, each city, understanding the differences and what they need, especially in District 11.
Okay.
But yeah. I'm a people person, so I enjoy that.
That's what's up. That's wonderful. I got to give a couple of, speaking of an event that you were at, we were at the same event, and it was Meredith Turner's fundraiser at the Cigar Lounge, and Meredith had to undergo surgery, so rest well, Meredith Turner, and get back on that campaign trail as you know that you can. So she's giving a shout out to her. Also, happy birthdays to Kat Danielle. And happy birthdays, pretty much happy February birthday. You have a February birthday.
My birthday was Valentine's Day.
Oh,
happy belated birthday. Oh, I love that day.
Yep.
Yeah.
For people's birthday. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
wow.
It is, so.
It was born on Valentine's Day.
Yep. So I
That's
love February birthdays, especially Valentine's Day.
Oh, that that's another story that you need to ask your parents. But other than that, so what did you get a chance to do for your birthday?
Spend time with friends.
That's what's up. That's wonderful.
That's great.
It is. So we're going to take a short break here on the Headline Eye on WNRV108.1.com, Nerve DJs. I'm going to ask a question. And I'm going to ask this question when we come back. And how did you get the name Sunny? So, we're going to come back. This is the iconic theme song from Sanford and Son. Rest in peace to Damon Wilson. We'll be right back on the Headline I Nerve DJs, WNRV 108.1.com.
This is WNRV 108.1.
Wagwan, this is Miss BBC, your reggae woman. Make sure you tune into the Headline Eye on WNRV 108.1.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Cleveland needs, wants, and has been waiting for. Johnny Mac and DJ Ellery present The Experience, Cleveland's first annual R&B hip-hop gala. We moved the date to Saturday, March 14th at the OR Venue Cleve, 4700 Lakeside Avenue. Red carpet photo shoot at 7 p.m. Event ends at 1 a.m. 30 and over. Formal attire is mandatory. Tickets $50 for single, $90 for couples. Early ticket purchase is strongly suggested. Tickets also available at the following ticket outlets: Diamond Cuts Barbershop, 5139 Superior Ave. Fashions by Fowler, 13226 Shaker Square. Mr. Albert's Men's World, 618 Prospect Ave. Call DJ Ellery at 216-254-5909 or Shawnee Mac at 216-235-4296 for more information. Check it out, Cleveland. We changing the game with this formal wear event. Early ticket exclusive table purchase is mandatory and strongly suggested.
What's up? It's your girl, Arthur Ivy Lee. Tune into the Headline Eye on WNRV 108.1.
This is WNRV 108.1.
Looking to grow or expand your business?
Yo, bro, you read my mind.
Well, we have the perfect solution for you. Your business needs are important, and so is your advertising. Here at WNRV Power 108.1, we have marketing solutions for all your business needs and affordable pricing to keep you in the green. Give us a call today at 216-702-0688. That's 216-702-0688. Or email us at WNRVPower1081@gmail.com today.
This is WNRV 108.1.
What do you get when you take two witty nerds and two of the best pair of hands since Techniques 1200s? Or better yet, Grandma's fried chicken, macaroni and cheese and greens on Sunday after church. Hallelujah! Then for dessert, the dopest blend of classic R&B and hip-hop joints all whipped up in one big sexy mixing bowl. You know what you get? The partying bull show. That's right. Heard 7 days a week. Make sure you check your station for days and times. It ain't what you used to, and it's better than what you thought. It's the most unprepared show on the planet. You never know what we gonna say or who's gonna stop by. It's the Partying Bull show with Dave Tolliver, Tiffany Nicole, DJ Cochise, and DJ Deuce, aka the Final Four. Turn it up in the whip, turn it up loud on Saturday while you cleaning. We the best, and I ain't talking about DJ Khaled. We up and we on. Check your stations for days and times. Partying Bull-ish, cause everybody loves a party, and Bull-ish ain't always bad. Holla, yeah man.
This is WNRV 108.1.
back on the headline eye with my guest, Miss Sunny Simon, who is running for domestic relations court judge. All right, so we played Cher, I believe, and of course the iconic Sonny and Cher. I'm gonna ask you, how did you get the name Sunny?
So what my parents tell me is when I was born, I was smiling all the time and laughing, and an older sibling popped out of his mouth the name Sunny, and they took it, and that's how I got it.
Wow.
Wow.
So how many brothers and sisters you have?
I have one sister and two brothers.
Oh, wow.
So, but the name wasn't very popular growing up, and I was teased a lot with the name. But Sonny and Cher, Simple Simon, all of it. But there's a couple Sonnys running around now.
Really?
Yeah, well, Sunny Hostin on The View, right?
Right,
so,
yeah.
we got her and another one, and I've run into, so.
Okay. So you pretty much had, and you know what, I'm going to run this. That's wild, but because you were smiling all the time, and that's the way you feel about your activism, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if you were not an attorney, what would you be doing?
I would be an animal activist or a veterinarian, working for animal rights.
You like animals?
Oh.
Yes, yeah.
Favorite?
I rescue everything. Growing up.
Favorite animal?
No one favorite.
No one favorite.
No one favorite. I've got a menagerie right now.
What's the most dangerous animal that you've been around?
I just recently was around a jaguar in the Pantanal in Brazil, very close to our vehicle.
Oh, wow.
So,
oh, my goodness.
I love wildlife. I love conservation. That's what got me into activism early on, was environmental issues and trying to help save the planet, climate justice.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get, like you said, how did you get into county council?
I was already on the city council in South Euclid, and when this new government formed, I just lit up and thought it would be a fantastic opportunity to continue to serve, and form a new government is once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's one of the best things that I've been able to be a part of so far.
How long you was on county council?
It's 15 years, going into 16, fourth term.
All right. So what have you learned from being a public servant all these years?
Not to give up, to be tenacious, that not everything's going to happen right away, but to keep persistent and don't back away and don't be a coward. I championed the plastic bag ban and got ripped apart for doing that, but I'm glad it happened because people now are aware of the dangers of plastic. So it's tenacity, and don't give up and don't be afraid.
So you pretty much believe in recycling and everything else like that.
I believe in try not to engage in single use. Try not to do that.
Okay, that's what's up. So now the thing about it is like the reason why this seat open is because former Judge Leslie Celebrezze, who was removed because of the indiscretion about the receivership. And the thing about it is she was a Democrat, correct? Or she represented that. How do you get, since the Republicans are all over the White House pretty much destroying everything, and then there's been some blame back and forth between the two parties, how do you get that trust back in the court? With the party, point blank.
I think, again, it's maybe having more engagement in the community and talk about what the court does and what it has done to correct or try to alleviate another, something like that happening again. I think getting out in the community and like I said, getting things in place that we can share with the public about how we're going to try to put everything in place, this won't happen again.
Okay. And making sure you do great people, pretty much.
Great people, and part of what happened too is make sure that the rules are there and they're being enforced and implemented, and watch over what's happening. absolutely.
So, Ms. Leslie, you have something to add on to ask her? Ms.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do have something to ask. So my question is going to be just a little bit of depth. You know how I am if you watch the show. So this is more so about, reform more so, right? Because what you're applying for, it has a lot of reform involved of all of the different scenarios you're going to be dealing with, and how people see family and the law system presumptuously before they even get there, right? Okay, so a lot of parents feel that domestic relations court is more about processing cases than helping families heal. As judge, not therapist, right? Would your courtroom focus more on resolution or execution? And what would that actually look like day to day?
Yeah, absolutely, resolution. I can say, and I touched on it earlier, and I'm glad you asked me again. There's a tendency for judges to rush cases through in a process and not understand that it's not a cookie cutter situation when families come into that court, that each case is so different, and the time that they need. The Supreme Court only gives 18 months for families with children, but there has to be a way to allow the space for the families to get the services they need. And I think that's a way to reform, is to provide those wraparound services to help families get through the court in the time they need, and also make sure mediation's available, which it is, but provide that space. And you never want to, if you can avoid it, have a trial. It's expensive. It cuts further into the the dispute that is already present. It's everything we can do to help alleviate that and have people come to their own agreements is really essential to healing. But I'm telling you, it's the time that's needed. And a lot of judges come in to family court and they don't understand that every case needs its own space and its own rhythm. And I think that's the answer there are services that need to be in place to make sure that those are in there and budgeted for.
That's right. So the thing about it is, like, pretty much budgeted for. And then, of course, cut out when we talked about the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. If you had a magistrate acting the way that she acted, in that, what would you do?
Gone.
Oh, he's like, eliminated, huh?
There's a professionalism, there's judicial temperament, and everything that goes in that is part of that trust that we're talking about restoring. It's how the judges, how the magistrate treat people that come in there, how the lawyers in that courthouse treat each other and other litigants, and there should be a no tolerance policy for that as well. Because you have a lot of people coming in now who don't respect the courts because of what's happening at the top. Mm-hmm. And that has to be held in check also, that you're not going to come into any courtroom and disrespect,
I think that's what the thing about it is, like, as being an attorney, for how many years you were an attorney? Like
over 35.
35. So you pretty much, you dealt with family law. That's it, just only family law. No criminal, no civil, just family law.
At the beginning I did I did criminal, and I still do bankruptcy.
Okay.
Consumer.
Okay, so with family, with everything, I think the trust in the judicial system, especially now, is more damaged than ever. So, getting that trust back. So from as an attorney standpoint, when you go into court, especially seeing judges, what is the one thing that judges make a mistake on as being from an attorney's eyes?
Not being present, not showing up for cases when they're scheduled for a settlement conference or in person, maybe not having that judge be engaged, I think is vital, that a judge is engaged, that they meet the litigants, that they talk to them, that they hear from them, and show up and know their case. It's a lot. There's a lot of cases, but it's important to know what is going on in each family and make sure that they're heard.
Mm-hmm. So the thing about it is the damage. Do you think that the damage that Celebrezzi caused because of the receivership thing, do you think that can be repaired by you being in that seat, personally?
Absolutely.
So you have all the confidence in the world that when you are elected, that you will be able to repair that?
I will work really hard, like I did, to restore county government trust. It took us a while. We have the strongest ethics reform in the state now. We have everything that's, on video. Everything is live streamed. Everything is public. And I think that notion needs to be brought to the court. And I feel with the other judges there working together that trust can be restored.
Okay. Looks like you got something to say.
Yes, Ms. Simon. So a few years back, there was an incident where a young boy was taken away from his mother due to custody, along with other children that she gave birth to. Mm-hmm. Now, for whatever reason, she was able to get him back. I don't know how. I don't know why out of all of them, he was the one. He might have been the newest one, maybe. Maybe the other ones were already way older and it was already gone, But she was able to get him back. The judge granted her to get him back. And the family who had the initial custody of him, were devastated, not only because they lost, their kid, but they didn't trust the mother. And the judge gave the boy back to the mom, and the mother ended up killing the little boy, and he died. How do you feel about situations like that?
Extremely disturbing and difficult and challenging for county workers, because that was a juvenile county case. I think it's not the domestic relations court, but no, it's very difficult to assess, what the law wants to reunite parents with their children. That's the umbrella notion, is that they should be, and if all the check boxes are checked and it looks at least like the mom or the dad reforms and they do what they're supposed to do to get the kids back, that's the impetus from the state, is to reunite kids with their parent. But when there's a stable place where the child's been in foster care and they're removed from that, that's traumatic. That's traumatic, and obviously this is a traumatic outcome, and it's trying to balance those different, needs. No, I think it's horrible. Right. I mean, it's difficult.
I mean, we do have a lot of cases, especially in domestic relations and juvenile court, because you deal with the one added advantage, and the thing about it is, especially now with the Epstein files coming out, you're dealing with children, young children, impressionable children that, the parents can't get along, they split up, get mad at one another, throwing stuff at each other. But the children are the most precious commodity because their mental is very important. So how can you, and the thing about it is, both parents, how can you determine as a judge, with time, to see which parent wants the child because they want the child to have a stable home, or if there's a control issue between both parents?
So the judge can't go inside the home and in most cases, meet
right.
the kids. So
that's
there's a
why
guardian.
The guardian allowed them.
There's a guardian, but also there's forensic psychological assessments and recommendations from the professionals to be able to help shed light on that question. And we do have a clinic at the court that can do that type of assessment to go deeper into the psychological dynamic that's happening and work with the guardian. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's an in-camera interview with kids, and it's not always the most, I would say you don't want to do that if you don't have to, but sometimes it's important to hear from the kids directly. Mm-hmm. And the judges do have an opportunity to do that with a guardian.
Okay. So the thing about it is when you win in November, what is the first 30 days of your jurisdiction look like? First, you have to say goodbye to county council after 15 years. So, first of all, two-part. How do you feel about leaving county council, and then how would you feel about what was the first 30 days of your jurisdiction look like once you are elected to domestic relations court judge?
Listen, I love county council. I'm going to miss my colleagues. I'm going to miss the work. I'm going to miss the oversight, the institutional knowledge that I'm able to bring because I'm one of the originals. But I also am happy there's an opportunity for people to grow and come into that seat. The first 30 days, that's going to be a huge, it's going to be a learning curve, how the court works, and I'm going to be, in the books and learning and making sure that I'm ready to serve even before I get there. I think there's going to be work to do between the first 30 days and after the election. So it's going to be learning, meeting with people, and being ready to go. Pretty much
after you're sworn in and all the pomp and circumstance, I solemnly swear and all that, and we've seen a lot of swearing in. Shout out to Cheryl Wilshire for being the last judge sworn in, and now everybody can get to business. So what is the most fun fact about you, Sonny?
Oh.
Besides the animals, because, you would, did you adopt a lot of animals, Did you adopt a lizard or something?
Listen, part of my work as a lawyer brings me into, when I was a guardian ad litem, into houses that needed help with animals, and I know how to trap. I'm going to tell you the fun fact is, I know how to trap cats, feral cats.
Really?
And I just had a case where it was a civil case where a house was being forced sold, and the people moved out and their cat was stuck in a wall, and I spent 6 months overseeing the rescue of this cat and spent almost every night trying to get it out because, so I don't know if that's a fun fact. I love to travel, I love conservation, but it's a weird specialty that I have, that I'm able to help with people who need to have their cats trapped. We just had a magistrate pass away who is a longtime domestic relations magistrate, and his people came to me and they were desperate that his cat was too scared to come out, and I was able to get in there and get his cat Sita out. And it's a service, I think, to him.
Right, so
anyway, sorry, it's not so fun, but it's kind of quirky and weird.
It's
like Sonny's animal hangout
personable. It's like the thing about it is, you can, hey man, like I could vote for her. She know how to get feral cats out walls. It's like, hey, listen, I don't mind. Like as long as you have you dealt with pretty much you said you saw the most dangerous animal you saw recently was a jaguar. Was that on a trip of yours?
Yes, I was doing a conservation trip to Brazil in the Pantanal, and they're restoring and rewilding, bringing the jaguars back and trying to get ecotourism there, and I was able to go on those rides, and we had jaguars pretty close.
Wow, how long did you stay in Brazil?
2 weeks, and spend time in Rio. And
that sounds fun. Did you get a tan?
It was so hot. Yeah, it was great. No, listen, I'm happy I was able to do it.
When did you go?
August.
Oh, you went in the hot months. You should go when it's cold, like
no,
now.
It was opposite. It's
really?
Opposite. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
So wait a minute. August was in Brazil was colder?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
What was the degrees?
Well, it was hot, but yeah.
What was the degrees?
Oh, it was up in the 90s.
Oh.
It was great. So anyways, but I was in the Pantanal, which is the largest wetland in the world. And so it was interesting.
So getting back to domestic relations, it's like how can men who feel like, especially a woman says something about a man in domestic relations court, how can you make them feel like, listen, you are going to get a fair trial, all this? Because, let's be honest, accusations of any kind can fly. against somebody. Now, there's some real creeps out here. Just let's be honest. But there's also men in here that have some false accusations against them. And the woman comes on a relationship, oh, he did this to me, he did that, and either she did something to him or, let's face it, it's a revenge tool. So how can your courtroom make sure that that men have a safe space?
In cases like that, that's why we have hearings. It's important for them, an actual hearing, to get witnesses to see if the accusations are supported or not, and provide that space for them, the man, to be able to just articulate and defend the accusations. And listen, after 35 years, I have a sense sometimes of what's going on, but it's important to bring in everybody, if there's accusations, to prove it, and not just take the word of the accuser that what she in your scenario is saying, to bring in those witnesses and make sure that they know that I'm not just going to take the word of one person in either situation, and be able to have a full hearing if we have to.
And even but the thing about it is the magistrate. So when you're elected, you also pick your magistrates, correct?
Can. Mm-hmm.
Can?
Yeah.
So will you be picking your magistrates when you are elected?
Yeah, I haven't. Absolutely. And I think it's important to have a balance of women judges in that court. The majority are all women. Mm-hmm. It's important to have men magistrates, I think, and people of color, and make sure it's a diverse court. And I think that's part of the answer too.
So you want you want diversity, because there's not a lot of diversity, especially, Tanya Johnson-Jones, shout out to her, shout out to Councilman Jones' wife. I think, his better half, he always says it to me. But the thing is that, she brings that. She's a woman of color, African-American woman. But we need more, you said, we need more men magistrates down at the Domestic Relations Court to balance out, anything, especially more African-American people down at the court, because there's not a lot, but also you pointed that out in period, point blank. Anything you have to say, you ran for county council, you're running for domestic relations court, you did get the endorsement from the Ohio Democratic Party, and you try to make every meeting and things of that nature. And like I said, you made Meredith Turner's, and shout out to her, she's recovering. What is the one thing that you want to tell somebody who's running for these particular seats? What is the one thing you want to tell them, the advice you can give them?
To be out there in the community. And I think it's important to show up and listen to people. And it's not easy to be running for office. You've got to always be out there. And it takes a lot of time. So.
Okay. So anything else? So the thing about it is, give a campaign information. I need your website again.
It is. All so right. That just went up. VoteSunnySimon.com.
VoteSunnySimon.com. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, despite the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, anything you want to say to the people of that loved Reverend Jackson, period. And I know you did, but anything you want to say?
No, it's just it's the passing of an icon is something. It's difficult. It's a difficult time, but like I said, I hope it's a beacon to inspire people with his message to stand up and continue in the legacy.
Okay, that's what's up. Alexis, you got anything to say about the passing of Reverend Jackson?
Rest his soul, and may we mimic those same characteristics in our community.
Amen to that. So I thank Sonny Simon for being here, and it's funny, and please light that smile up so we can call you Sonny all the time.
No, Sonny was my boy on All My Children. Okay. You remember Sonny, the Stefan one?
Yeah.
I used to love me some Sonny. I like the name Sonny.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks for having me. It's been great.
No problem. And we are going, and the thing about it is we are going to go out with Emotion, because there's a lot of emotion that comes here. And this is Mariah Carey, Emotions. I actually like this song. So if nobody tells you that they love you today, I do. We'll be back next week with the cast of The Resurrection from Death to Destiny here on the Headline Eye on Nerve DJs. This is Larry H. Gardner with Lexus Bogan and Human T-Rex saying peace, love, and hair grease. We out of here until next week.
This is WNRV 108.1.